How do you promote yourself without sounding conceited? Well, today we're going to show you how to brag.
Do you want to do what you want? Do you want better money? Welcome to Dream Job Radio.
Today's theme, how to brag so others don't gag. Hi, this is Daniel Laxton.
And this is Leah Laxton.
And this is the Dream Job Radio Show, presented by 30careers.com.
We're very excited about our returning champion, our returning guest this week, Darcy Eikenberg, for certain.
Yeah, but if you have any questions or if you have comments that you'd like to leave, go to dreamjobradio.tv and there you can interact with us.
And see what other exciting upcoming guests we might have or leave comments for Darcy as well.
So, have you ever wanted to brag on yourself and you just don't know how? Is it even socially acceptable? That's today's show. Again, how to brag so that others don't gag. Our special guest is Darcy Eikenberg. Now, she's an author and a superhero consultant. We're looking forward to our return guest, Darcy.
Yeah, Darcy, with a unique mix of perspectives, passions, and practice as a leadership and workplace coach, author, and speaker, founded Red Cape Revolution.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Previous show with her. She's an author of a new upcoming book, Bring Your Superpowers to Work. And this is a guide for more clarity, confidence, and control. You can find out more about this book and get free tips and tools and even sign up for her newsletter if you go to the redcaperevolution.com. Darcy, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks guys. I'm so glad to be here again with you. Thanks for inviting me back.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So exciting to be in video. This is great.
I know, it's great to see your smiling faces.
That's right.
And we all look great.
Yeah.
I put on lipstick for you.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So this is a really interesting subject, because it's important to be able to talk about ourselves, but is it really socially acceptable to brag?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I have the great fortune in my work as an executive and leadership coach and just being out as a speaker to meet all kinds of people who have just amazing talents and have done terrific things. And I think we've forgotten a little bit about that in the past several years when the mood has been so dark around what's happening in workplaces and people have been, keep your head down, don't talk about yourself, don't put yourself out there. And yet, with all the good stuff that's happening, what I find is that when people are actually working heads up instead of heads down and starting to share that and share it, from their perspective with the pride that I've heard in their voice when they've talked about it, the reaction is that people are like, wow, tell me more. And I just feel on a principle level and some of the broader mission, that we're trying to do at Red Cape Revolution is that we have to be talking more and more about the great things that are going on and the great things that we're doing. So
Absolutely.
When we think it's not socially acceptable, we keep ourselves from telling those stories. But I think the more stories like that we hear, the more we change our perspective on what's possible in the new world of work today.
That's right. Yeah, and we talked about last time about bringing your superpower, or kind of bringing your A game to work and the skill set that maybe others or even you in the past haven't been doing, or a person hasn't been doing. So it kind of makes sense that, what if you look around and you've stepped your A game up and nobody's kind of noticing, right? Hopefully people are, but sometimes you have to kind of call attention to the fact that you are exceeding what the standard is.
Well, and even the fact of what's the contribution that you're actually making. I've worked with a lot of people who get into the trap of, to some degree, taking themselves for granted, and then others take them for granted or around it. And because you get used to the language. You get used to, I have a client who for many years just called herself a writer. And we finally dove into it and we realized, she does 20 different things under that hat, including big ticket items, client relationship management, project management, research, subject matter expert interviews. And it's so much more than just being, quote unquote, a writer. And so, we sometimes, especially as we're trying to bring our superpowers to work, have to realize the world needs to know that, and not in a, arrogant, oh, I'm so wonderful way, but in a mode of service, in a mode of, these are the ways that I can help make, create a difference in my company, my community, with my colleagues, whatever that piece of the world might be. So I think we have to kind of get out of hesitating, and especially if we've done the work and invested in ourselves to be able to do the things we know are calling us to do, not telling anybody about it, kind of feels like you're not only not doing something good for yourself, but leaving other people out of the equation too.
You're cheating.
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
actually cheating them, right?
Right.
So,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
No,
I just say quickly that I find this when I do brag on yourself exercise in some of the talks that I
I
give,
love it.
and always people in the group who are like, oh, rolling their eyes and feeling uncomfortable, and I always say discomfort is where the growth comes from, but the reality is that afterward, there's always a connection that's made, with people who have heard the bragging, and they're like, wow, I wanted to hear more, I was fascinated. So it is a gift that you can give someone, a gift of a new idea, a gift of just a realization, or a connection to say, wow, I've been thinking about the same thing, hey, maybe I can do that, let's talk some more. So back to being in service, and your point, Daniel, about cheating people by not telling your story. We've got to be out sharing that.
I think she and I have been brought up in that same mindset where you're not really supposed to talk much about yourself. So
Yeah, certainly.
maybe we can, and I think a lot of people maybe watching right now may feel exactly the same way. So do you have some pointers that you might be able to share with us on how one can brag acceptably?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing that I've found is at first to start with a pride point, something that you are genuinely proud of. I think we get very caught in focusing on our accomplishments or our success stories. And the reality is, work is made up of so many different points along the way. Being able to change, let's say, a unhealthy relationship to a one where we tolerate each other in a respectful manner, that's an accomplishment that doesn't get put on a KPI list or performance plan, but it's a true accomplishment, and one that somebody who's worked hard to do that, it probably feels very proud of. So I always suggest to people, first start with one or two things in your professional life, because there's many things in our personal lives that we probably are proud of, but that is a pride point for you. And so first having that point, and then what I show and teach is how to use words I call smoothers, to hear the difference between I was appointed to the CEO's task force versus I'm so honored to be appointed to the CEO's task force.
There you go.
Putting yourself in it, in that smoother, in that transitional way. First of all, it's your point of view, so you can't be wrong. I was honored to be appointed. I was proud to be invited to be here today on your show. I mean, there are ways that we can put ourselves into those pride points, and that someone else can't say, well, no, you're not. I mean, they have an opinion on it or perspective. Not everybody's going to be happy for the things that are happening for you, but if there is a way that you can start to have one or two or three of those little pride points and be able to use them from time to time, instead of sometimes we have such inane filler of, how are you? Fine. How are you? Fine. Change your fine to, how are you? Great. I was so honored to be invited to the CEO's task force. What's going on with you?
Oh,
Same
I like
time.
it, yeah.
It takes the same amount of time, but you've actually then communicated something to that person that they might not have known, that might be of value to them, and that gives them another just piece of data about you. So there are ways to do it that aren't, you don't have to be, Mr. Slick to do it, and you don't have to make other people think that you're full of yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
So, but the person can actually even start out on a personal level, because I was just thinking, like Lee and I, we have such a great relationship, been married in our 12th year now, and we never argue, right?
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. But no, but you're saying that we can practice even on a personal level to get used to it, and then branch out into our professional level then.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that people are actually much better at talking about the points of pride on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so proud of Johnny, who didn't win the gold medal in the swim team, but he tried. He had a faster time on the 50-meter race, or I mean, we talk about the things like that with I'm so proud of my puppy, or with our personal things all the time. But we really have left that at home, and we haven't brought it to the workplace. And that's part of what my book Bring Your Superpowers to Work is just about in general, about integrating everything that makes us who we are, and everything, the stuff that makes us great at home can also make us great at work, and not feeling like those lives have to be so totally separate. So home is a great place to practice, but there's plenty of safe places at work to practice too. Or if you go to a professional event, instead of having here's my elevator speech and stuff that feels false, I call it putting the right words in your mouth. Have something that's just unique and genuine, again, and that you care about. If I care about the fact that, we brought in the sustainability project on time and on budget, I'm so honored that we were able to bring that in, and people are going to be interested in that. And again, that tells them something more about something that you care about.
I love that. Mm-hmm. You're listening to the Dream Job Radio Show. We have a special guest, a returning guest, Darcy Eikenberg. So,
yeah, this sort of reminded me of something that we do. My brother, we sometimes tease him that he'll get kind of down in the dumps on himself. And we have a little exercise we do for him where we say, all right, you have to say, I'm the best.
You have to say it.
Everybody loves me.
You have to say, everyone likes me.
Yeah, and he never wants to say it. And he's like, that's stupid.
Come on, say it. He goes, everybody likes me.
And then, he feels so much better. So it is kind of like, not only, I guess, are we bragging man, brag seems like such a bad word. Is there like another word that you use for it?
Counting your accomplishments. Or my mother would always say, count your blessings.
Right. Well, it is funny because I often say, brag's become a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
When I first wrote about this, I wrote about it as putting the right words in your mouth, partly because the idea of bragging, and the word brag just has such connotations.
It does.
There is a fantastic book, though, that's fully on this subject. It's called Brag. It's by a woman named Peggy Klaus, and it certainly is great on, just even deeper into this subject. And so it's a book that I recommend. And I think her subtitle is How to Toot Your Own Horn Without Blowing It, or something.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
It's a book that's been around for quite a while, but it's a great resource too. But I think that even you mentioned having your brother say different things, put the right words in his mouth. One of the things that I often suggest to managers and leaders is to create the space for bragging. Even first of all, to be a role model themselves, maybe at the top of a meeting, to say something. And of course, many leaders are great at saying things about their team, but also showing a little bit about what they care about can be important. But also creating a space to say, we're just going to take 20 seconds each, the timer's on, and the one thing you want to brag about today is X. Mm-hmm. And giving people that space and permission is really powerful, because we don't give ourselves the permission to say what all the great stuff is. And it's like your mom saying, count your blessings. I think we're doing that more and more in our home lives. The world's so complex, we kind of need to remind ourselves. But are we doing that at work? If count your blessing is only, well, I'm thankful I have a job, that's not enough. There are good things that happen every day. I don't believe companies are evil and work is evil. I think, work companies are made of people. Work is done by people, and people are
Evil
apparently.
people? I'm just teasing.
I think we're good, and I think people are different. So you're always going to get somebody who is going to be sour or maybe not respond, but who cares? I say a lot that the only thing we can control, and I didn't make this up, but the only thing that we can control is what we say, what we do, and what we think. And we can't control that there's somebody out there who, may just be just a genuinely unhappy person and, may hear what we say in a room and have a reaction to it, but so what? For every one of those people, there's going to be 3, 4, 5 other people who are going to be like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know she was working on that project. Or, oh, I'm having this kind of issues. I wonder, I should go talk to her later.
Yeah, for sure.
From a leadership perspective, if you're analyzing your group, it gives you insight on things that you may have not have known about them. So it actually may help you to know who to put where on certain projects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a
Absolutely.
bad thing, even from a leadership perspective. But either way, you're also helping them to grow confidence in themselves.
Right, which is the thing that I find is just sorely lacking today, and yet people have more reasons than ever to be confident. To some degree, I love the fact that we can put our hands on any kind of information in minutes. I don't have to rack my brain anymore as to who sang which song, but at the same time, because we have all that information, I think we devalue ourselves. We think there's always somebody better, somebody doing more. And, as a leader, being able to make sure that your people are really understanding all that they are doing and that they're having opportunity to say it. To your point, Daniel, I've done exercises with intact teams where we've done kind of a bragging, quick, rapid bragging, like bragging speed dating, basically.
Very
is
cool.
what it is. And the team instantly knows so much more about each other than they did even if they've been working with each other for a long time. So it is a great way to really get at the heart of someone. When you start with what they're proud of, you can really get at the heart of who the people around you are.
Yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about redcaperevolution.com in the beginning. Tell us more about what's going on with Red Cape and Bring Your Superpowers to Work, the book, and all that stuff that's been going on since we saw you last.
Yeah. So Simply Saw You Last. The book is out. So Bring Your
Awesome.
Superpowers to Work, your guide to more clarity, confidence, and control. And, those are really the 3 things that I focus my work on, both my speaking as well as my coaching and consulting. And things that I just find are the pieces that high-performing professionals need more of and want more of to be able to bring their superpowers, to be able to step up to the things that I just think the world needs. So, on the site itself, we've continued to add free tools. We have a superpower statement generator, which is free, that is a chance for you to inventory a lot of the different skills that you have. And it's more than just skills. It's also other resources, your people in your community, or the other things or life experiences that you have. And that's under free tools at redcaperevolution.com. We're always looking for different ideas, questions to answer. I've doing a series of Ask Darcy calls, and we also answer questions on our Facebook page at facebook.com/redcaperevolution. So just really trying to change the dialogue out in the workplace and give people also the tools and the permission sometimes to know that they can get clear about where their superpowers are and how they should use them. They can take more control, and that puts them into action and builds the confidence. So we really try to give you the tools, the information, permission, one person at a time, and in the long run, hopefully make a difference in our world of work.
For certain. Well, we appreciate so much you taking time out, and we'll definitely have links up to the book and the website there on dreamjobradio.tv.
I got to be honest though, Darcy, I don't know how comfortable I feel about this bragging stuff, but I'm really good about change, and I think I I might be able to do pretty good with it.
You're the best.
And all you can do is give it a try and practice. And like anything, the good things in life don't come to us overnight. I'm sure you guys didn't meet once and know that it was going to last 12 years. So it takes practice, it takes some work, but that's the payoff, and it's good for it. So give it a try, see how it feels, and keep working it.
I love it.
I love it too.
Thank you so much, Darcy.
This is the Dream Job Radio Show, and we had a special guest, Darcy Eikenberg.
Eikenberg.
Sorry. so glad to have you back, though, and we'll see you again soon.